Welcome, everyone. This is Polly Beatles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at late Susan LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Terry Edwin,
Hi.
Sanswinda,
Hello.
Warindus,
Hello, everyone.
Calabathian,
I'm back.
and Krister.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, we seem to have a nice crew today where we could have a look at the latest goings on in LOTRO, which isn't all that much, but we do have some release notes. Update 33.0.4, which was released on May 18th, where the first thing to note is that Season 1 of the Legendary Item Reward track is ended, and a new one started on the day after the patch. And this will go on for 3 months. And that in addition to a number of Trace Freeze runes and Ancient Script, the Season 2 rewards also offer 3 legendary Trace Free tokens and several cosmetic rewards, including Azag's Sword, a new Hobbit Dance emote, a new banner of Gil-galad housing item, and the Mountaineering Donkey cosmetic pet.
So the question though, did they
Yeah.
fix it so that I can actually get those? Or do I have to come up with magic space in my inventory for unopenable things to get those?
You'll have to come up with the magic space.
Yeah, I want you to come up with that. That sounded cool.
Yeah, that's
They really
And
should
then
put
you
that
have
in
to
the
share the
store.
secret.
Yeah.
all right. Now, just so that you know, the first of these that you get is the banner of Gil-galad, which comes at opening 25.
I was so excited, though. I've wanted that banner since I woke up as a high elf in Tamsend. It's the blue one with the stars on it, the long blue one. Oh, it's so pretty.
Okay, so you're looking forward to when you hit 25 then.
Oh, I already got it.
Oh, you already got it. Oh, you had a ton of these.
I'm looking forward to hitting 50 so I can get the next one.
Right, and the next one is the Hobbit Dance.
But it's not account wide. Why SSG?
What?
You got to work for the Hobbit Dance.
Yeah. And the third is the Sword of Azog is at 75. And then at 100, which is the final step in the thing before you go into that repeatable, is the Mountaineering Donkey.
It does look cute in the little pet, box, the collections box.
Oh, it looks just as cute, not in the collections box. Somebody had it last night in the raid.
Oh, they probably had a bunch of those runes ready to open up. Yeah, there's always going to be someone who's going to have it on the first day. Well, my goal is to see if I can get this by the end of the 90th. Very well. That's our news and notes in there. Also, for classes, for the champion, Great Cleave Duration Tracery was erroneously affecting some unrelated champion effects, durations, and or cooldowns. This has been fixed. No change to its effect on Great Cleave. Now, you have any idea what this is all about, Terry?
It's a yellow line thingy, so I don't use it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've gotten the tracery out of those stupid random tracery boxes, but I run red lines, so no. Actually, Great Cleave has to do with your AoE skills, and it's great for when you're in yellow line, but no, I don't use it on Terry.
Wait, Terry, are you saying that Great Cleave is great?
It's great if you're actually cleaving stuff, yeah. I have found my most efficient build to be kind of a pretty good mix between red and yellow. Since there's a lot of stuff in red that I don't need to trade in, like the hamstring and the athleticism and ebbing ire, which has no business even being in the red line thing. I have lots of extra points to spend. So yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on then. Then let's head to the Lore Master, where Fellowship Friend Tooltip removed reference to the spirit of nature as it is not affected by this trait. And tutelage of the Brown Wizard's description no longer refers to the deprecated Sikkim skill. Then, in legendary items, trace-free rewards now include words of power, craft, and heraldries, not just words of mastery.
Words of mystery. It's a word of mystery because we have no idea what we're getting.
Sometimes they are words of mystery, like it's a mystery why I keep getting blue ones.
And as for quests and adventure areas in the Troll Shoals, the Ghostly Roads Go Ever On quest objective has been adjusted for clarity. And in the Undershire, the Ghost of Bar Faroth hidden ranger caches are now easier to select when you do not have floating names enabled. Now, my question is this really Undershire, or was this intended to be? I didn't remember this particular.
Well, have you finished the Undershire? Because this is probably for something we haven't done yet.
Yeah, I've done the entirety of Yondershire, and I guess it. Yeah, that's the thing that's. I was wondering, what is.
Pineleaf is now going to go looking around Yondershire for a ranger that he hasn't seen yet.
That's what I'm thinking. He thinks he's done, but he hasn't even been to the casino.
Well, my one possibility is that my name has just excised the name from my mind. That's always a possibility.
That's because Krister the Casino is not Pineleaf friendly.
Let's then go to localization updates, where the German and French UI for the reward track should now display the title, countdown, and claim buttons correctly. And for German, updated the German translation for race to folk to reflect a more modern word usage.
Yes, and now, linguistically, my friends, Volk in German, you now know where we get the word folk in English with an F.
Yeah. Well, I think in German it would be pronounced folk anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. And updated translation to the Nuudmelek raid map banner. And as for French, updated the translation of the Gundabad Orc Archer. Updated translation of Buck the Leaper to indicate that he is a deer, not a rabbit. And updated the translation of the Nuudmelek raid map banner. Okay, so it did it for both languages. And as for miscellaneous items, the quest log active quests tooltip will now correctly display additional active quest slots granted to VIP subscribers. The bucket planter of Wisteria and empty bucket planter have been removed from Adventurers and Travelers Steelbound loot boxes. A vase of white clover and a vase of Coxcomb has been added to the Adventure and Traveler Steelbound loot boxes in their stead. Tarnished Heritage runes have been removed as loot drops from most landscape monsters, backpacks, corpses, and chests. And the Tarnished Heritage runes are those very, very annoying 1,000 point IXP runes. Because it's like, really? This thing dropped, it's only 1,000? And improved icons of the blank canvas and well-loved easel. And fixed link in the little dubbing map from the Yondershire. And that is it for update 33.0.4.
Uh-oh.
Yeah? What?
Did they say something about a storm or something?
Yeah. Calabathian and Terry just may have left us.
Okay. Well,
We'll see.
We will see. Yes, they have.
I believe there was
Okay,
some bad
so
weather there.
yes. Yes. That's the. How about what
There we go.
say both their power ran out both at the same time. You don't think they were living in the same house. And with that, there is one other thing to note. You'll notice in those release notes one thing very definitely missing, and that was the updated bridles. They were not ready for this week. They still have some hope that maybe it could get out next week, but of course, I don't suggest that you hold your breath for it because, well, first of all, trying to hold your breath until next week would be enough trouble as it is.
I'm curious about what the problem is. Is it like, no, for the last time, the bridle goes on the front of the horse, okay?
Yeah.
Well, presumably they don't want to slot too many traceries in there so that you get really OP by having a bridle equipped.
Okay. Now, did your electricity come back on, or are you coming on here through a phone?
No, it's back on.
Okay.
It might be taking her a little bit longer because she's on a desktop computer.
That'll take you longer.
Yes, I have a laptop, so I've got battery backup.
Yes, I know that feeling.
So yeah, it takes her a little bit longer to get everything rebooted.
Then let's go into store sales. And Terry, since you're back, why don't you tell us what's on sale this week?
Oh, yay! Well, our weekly coupon is the Skill and Slayer Deed Boost now through May 26th with coupon code Deed Booster. And we get 20% off select housing decorations, select housing sets, housing property writs, and select clothes also through the 26th.
Thank you, Terry. And now let's head into our weekend gaming. And since Kelly Bathine is probably rebooting right now, we'll get to her later and start with Krister.
Okay, yeah, so we did our attempt at T2 last night, and once again, our evil enemies, the first bosses, the big mean giants, defeated us once again. However, once again, we feel, at this point, we feel like we got our positioning down. Some of it felt like just bad luck last night because that pull is so unforgiving that if we lose somebody, or especially have one of the tanks get knocked off the platform, it's over at that point, and so we have to restart. So, so to ease everybody's stress levels last night, after trying that a few times, we went ahead and did a T1, and as usual, it's such a contrast running those T1s because the T1 just goes very straightforward, very smoothly. And I just have a feeling that that's what's going to happen once we defeat that first boss, get past them, that the rest of the raid is going to be manageable and we're going to be able to get through it. But it's the big question now is, do we have can we endure the stress to achieve it?
Yeah. So therefore, they're saying that the giants are a gate mechanism to say, no, you're not ready to handle the rest of this raid until you get past these guys.
I think so. I'm hoping they're, well, of course, I think we've heard that the other bosses are equally difficult in their own ways, but I have a feeling that if we, as long as we can have our reses, as long as we can use our reses, we're going to do a lot better in those matches. So that was another frustrating night with T2. However, we're going to keep going at it. At this point, there's just a certain amount. Sometimes there's just a settling into everybody playing together and doing it over and over again, where it becomes routine. You just know where to stand automatically. You know what to do automatically. And as those routines get better and better, our chances for getting past it. And of course, I just can't wait for that moment that we killed them. I think it's just going to be shock. We might just all have to log off and have a moment of silence. And but so, anyways, so we're going to keep plugging at that. And then, of course, in the ESO, I am just having, and I can't say it any other way, a blast with my exploding electric orc. I go to Craglorn and I just harvest souls. I mean, it's just absolute destruction. But what I have learned now is that I can survive the apocalypse in Craglorn, but nobody around me can do that if they're if they get aggro at all, they die. So it's been really cool. But and so now that I've gone and done a couple delves now, and it just feels like he's walking into preschool at that point. It's just like, oh boy, this is so easy. You mean you got to defeat 3 guys? I just fought 57 guys at once. Okay, the 3 guys are fine. So that's been a blast. And then I got another new game this week, and it was I was playing Rimworld a bit, and then I picked up Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator, where you can literally I had a battle with 1,500 World War II American assault troops, 25 Sherman tanks against 2 million zombies that were two actual 2 million zombies. It was absolutely awesome and crazy to watch. So I was having it's kind of in alpha right now, but just a blast. So my week was pretty exciting on the gaming on the nerd front. So Goyer, how about yourself?
Well, Girls of Middle Earth took the Bergs into Moria. We started out questing fairly straightforward, and somehow it ended up with us running for stables and jumping down wells and grabbing stables higgledy-piggledy, just riding through mobs and having them all chase us. And yeah, it was fun. It was a typical girls stream. We were right on brand. On Wednesday, I got a wild idea. And I made me a brawler in LOTRO. It's sort of an analog for my ESO main. Her name is Sedessa. She is from Gondor, and I went for the darker skinned option since my main in ESO is a red guard. A great deal has happened since then. It's kind of a new experiment for me. I took her up to level 20 because I wanted to make sure she had all of the titles. And after she'd hit Undying and I unlocked skirmishes at level 20, I used a level 130 Valor on her. And since then, have been going around unlocking stables randomly, leveling up, crafting enough so she can pick things up, so she's an explorer. Did some missions on her, though, for both the Three Peaks stuff, the original ones, and also some Gundabad missions, and it feels really good. I'm running with a captain. I'm not sure what line the captain's running in, but I switched to mostly tanky. Sans, I know a way to burn through ancient script like crazy. Pick a class and then decide that you need both tank and DPS LIs on it, and it'll be gone. Not entirely gone, but I don't have to worry about the cap anymore. So I don't know if you want to try to do that. That might help. Who knows? You said you have spaces left. Yeah, in ESO, 2 of my characters completed feeding their horses, and my main now has all the crafting traits researched, even the Nernhound ones. But that's about all I did on that. Ever since Wednesday, I've did nothing but the new brawler. Even took her to Sarnor for dating night. One of the Kinneys had an on-level character and was trying to clear out Sarnor.
Okay. How did
And
you
we
manage
went
to get
along.
all those Nernhound?
Auction hall, or guild
Okay.
traders. I used Tamriel Trade Center, and I would buy what I could afford when I could afford. That's why I haven't had enough gold for a house originally. But no, you can find people make just like level 1 Nernhound items, and you can.
And some of them are pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most I paid for them was there were some weapons, like about 3 or 4 weapons I ended up having to pay about 30,000 gold for. And that's more than I paid for the other ones.
Okay.
It's a lot more than I paid for any armor piece, but the weapons were more expensive.
Yeah, the weapons, it just got to the point where nobody was posting anything that was cheaper than 30 something for a while. But I only needed about 3 or 4, and I had plenty. So, yeah, all done. Sans, what did you get up to this week?
Well, I ventured in Moria on girls, and we had a very nice, straightforward run through Moria. Very
straightforward? You mean just, hey, let's just go for it?
Well, I mean, we did go in kind of a straight line, and we killed everything. until we rode for Stable Masters. But even that was a straight line. Like, it was a straight line from the top of the well to the bottom of the well. It was a straight line down to the Flaming Deeps. Well, I mean, the road curved a little bit, but we stayed on road. I didn't go off-roading.
You should have been around the day or two later when I decided to take on Lara and tried to find the 21st hall, and I kept missing my turn and ended up dying once. And yeah, it was.
I really should have been. I'm sorry. We shouldn't have ended in the Flaming Deeps either, because that was kind of a bad place to leave off.
That would have been great for the stream, but oh well.
Alas, we'll have to do it again.
Oh well, I'll probably forget the left turn again.
Sorry. I didn't really mean to stand us there. We were already down the well. And I helped a Hobbit with Dreams of a Lynx mount on Tuesday night. And I must say, I think Hobbits should be allowed to ride Lynx.
You think Diamond has the right idea?
I think
okay,
got the
okay,
right
Hobbits
idea.
can ride Lynx, but then I get to ride a dragon. Okay?
Well, if they won't let me ride a dragon too, I should at least get a Lynx.
You can ride. Okay.
If they let me ride a Moomac or a dragon, I'll trade it.
Sans, I'm gonna get a dragon with a sidecar, and then you can ride with me. Okay.
Okay, that works. As long as it's not like in the fire breath line. And then I've made it almost halfway through the quests in patch 2.55 in Final Fantasy XIV. And I want to say that means I'm halfway through, but I don't think that's actually probably true, because it's probably going to get like more story intense. But, I am almost, it feels like I'm almost into Ishgard, and I really hope I am. So, that's how that's going. How was your week, Terry?
Well, we're in the busy season at work, and we keep losing people, like they're dropping like flies. So, I haven't done a whole lot in the last several weeks, which is also why I've been really scarce, because I'm really tired by Saturday. I've gone from like 2 days a week to 4 or 5, so readjusting back to more days of the week. I mean, it's good for the paycheck. It's not so great for doing things that are not work related. But I joined the exercise and frustration that is the T2 raid attempt last night. Ugh. So much.
It was pretty bad. It was.
Oh my god. I don't know how you guys do it every week. There's no way I could do it. Like, I joined hoping that maybe there was a little progress from the last time I was in T2. Kind of not really. We're kind of still in the same thing. It's like being in a rut and not having quite enough oomph to get out of the rut.
Yeah, that's how it feels like. We just need a little oomph.
On the plus side, I only got punted off the platform once, so I feel very accomplished by this. I was among the last people still standing after tanks went down when we did wipe several times, so I felt very accomplished by this. Like, I knew I wasn't generating any kind of aggro because they came after me last. Dang it! Like, or next to last anyway. So I felt very accomplished by this. Like, I'm doing my job. I am not pulling aggro from the tanks. I'm not getting aggro until everybody else is dead. Mission accomplished. And then when we did the T2 run, or the T1 run, and actually got past the giants into the next boss, for the first time ever, I managed to run when I was supposed to and find the spot behind the pillar to hide when Dushtabuk does his thing and you're supposed to run away. Which fills me with confidence that if we should ever get there in T2, I might actually manage to do the same thing. If we ever manage to get there in T2.
Yes.
There's the if, but yeah, so I really didn't have a lot of death for myself personally. Once we went into T1, it's like, oh, okay. which is nice because even the last time we ran T1, I think I died a couple of times. So, the great thing about T1, well, the great thing about some of these battles is, you have your battles where you have structure, which is what we're dealing with in T2. But then when you get past the giants, some of those areas is like a great big free-for-all, and it's just go after whoever. There is no real strategy. Yes, we know that certain things have to come down, but if you happen to be closer to other thing and can take down other thing, go for it. You don't necessarily have to be right on the Radis's target, which is nice. I like to go looking for pew-pews at the edges of the mob, because pew-pews must die. In ESO, I have done really kind of nothing new. I've been going back on Terry Adwin and also on Sarissa, who just hit level 40 this week, catching up on stuff that I should have done the first time around. And, if you wanted to be a completionist, I should have done it the first time. And now I'm having to backtrack and pick up where I left off, which is not bad. It's just I don't have the energy to. Mostly it's because if there is talking to NPC about whatever, I don't have to pay attention. I can just kind of zone out through it and just do the things I'm supposed to do, because I know I've done it with another character. So, yeah. And then most of my last couple weeks, although I do want to mention, I didn't put it in my notes, but I do want to mention, last week I came home and I was so frustrated by dealing with customers that I sent a message to everybody, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be a goose and I'm going to stream it to the channel, and anybody who wants to pop into voice can do it. So I must have played for like 2 hours being a horrible goose and terrorizing people in the village. It was awesome. I should not be having this much fun as a horrible goose. But let me tell you something. I had way too much fun. Mostly just, because, and it gave me a little bit of breathing space and a little bit of, I could go back and deal with the public again the next day. But yeah, mostly
what you would do to them if you were a horrible goose.
Yep, exactly. I think that was the day that a lady watched me mix her paint and then was upset because I didn't dot all 3 of her paint cans that were the same color to make sure that they were all the same color. I'm like, you watched me mix them. I know they're the same color. Anyway. Yeah, so most of my last several weeks have been playing Craft the World and falling asleep playing Craft the World. And if I forget to hit escape as my eyes are closing, it just kind of runs. So then I wake up to walls are missing in my house on both sides. The doors are broken down. I might have a dead dwarf or 2. It's just fix all of the things. Okay, and then I have to root out the rat's nest that spawned because my comfort was at 0 because we didn't have doors.
Gaping hole where the wall should be.
Gaping holes where the wall should be, like 3 high. Yeah. But hopefully, my goal is actually to try and do something in the ESO so I can get something accomplished this week before we leave for vacation, because I don't know that I'm going to be able to do much when we're in Philly. I'm taking the laptop with me, but that doesn't mean I'm going to actually accomplish anything with it. So Calabathian, now that you're back, how about your week?
Well, I tried to get some deeds done in Gundabad, and after the 9th time I found myself running in circles trying to find treasure chests in Madagard. I pretty much said naughty things and told the dwarves where they could put their dang treasure. And apparently that would be in a riddled room if missions are any indication, but I digress. No, I was having trouble. I was trying to basically finish out some of the deeds in some of the places. In Madagard, I only had to find like it because I kill like 5 more things of this one particular type to finish out a Slayer deed. And I'm like, oh, I can do this. No, I can't do that. Because I could not find all of the treasure chests that we're supposed to find because they're up and down, and it's Madagard, and the dwarves were apparently on acid or something when they decided they wanted to build Gundabad. But I kind of felt like I was in the movie Labyrinth at the very end, an Escher painting, trying to find everything. So I just kind of decided, what, I'll beg somebody for help. I'm not too proud for that, because this is me. We're talking about I get lost in a one room house with only one way in and out. But also Kevin, as he is named, Kevlar, Kevin. I don't know, Kvetch. That's pretty much what I'm doing here. It's Pew Pew of the Giants in T2 really does need to quit moving around because he wasn't before, and now all of a sudden he is, and we're all like, you know what? That's not right. And nobody we know seems to know when this happened, but it happened after the last update, and there's nothing in all the release notes because we just saw release notes and everything else, and it's still not mentioned. So it must have been like a stealth thing. And so all I have to do say to that is, what did you do, devs? Fix it. Put it back. You weren't supposed to lick it. But yeah, and of course the Lonely Mountains scenario in Craft the World continues to be irritating just because it is irritating. I've done it before. It's still irritating. I kind of was hoping to get the same bug that Terry got on her version, where there were no monsters at all. There were just the occasional random zombie that shows up out of nowhere. But otherwise,
need more mods. I keep telling you need more mods. I'm pretty sure it's one of my mods that broke it.
Yeah, but
I don't know which one.
Yeah, but I'm just kind of slowly but surely making my way down. But that was this week, and it's been terribly, terribly hot, and I have no AC, so I keep my window open and the fan going. It's off right now, but that's because it plunged 20 whole degrees when I think the storm kind of came through, and the sun decided it wanted to sink slowly, down and give us some shade. And I'm enjoying this nice, cool weather, just not without, I don't want people going, there's noise. Fine. But that was my week, yes.
And then I'll go into my week there. Well, begin with my brawler who participated in that little dragon attempt or I should say giant attempt, seeing how it's the giants that we can't get past on that P2 run in there. And while Terry was having her first time where she was getting everything on that second boss into the right place and timing everything perfectly, for me, last night was my worst I've ever had in my timing on that boss. I missed every single. I don't know how I managed not to get killed by the spikes in that thing because I missed every single cue on that particular item in there. Kept on missing, getting behind the pillars. It kept on being a little bit late getting out. Fortunately, not late enough to get killed. So obviously I need to wake up more about that before we do get there in T2. And in DDO, my tabaxi snuck aboard a smuggler ship and found evidence in there and killed the smugglers. And over in Minecraft, I managed to finally take over a woodland mansion. This is the first time I successfully conquered one of those things without any mods or anything like this. So I'd gone on there over, I think it took me something like 20, 30 Minecraft days to get rid of all of those, getting rid of all those illagers, and also, of course, having to clear out and light up the place so that we won't get any more zombie creepers and all those other nasty things that love to spawn inside of those places, because apparently those illagers just don't lighting those places up. And in ESO, I finally managed to clear out all of the treasure maps and survey reports, not only from my backspace, because I think last week I might have actually gotten them out of my backspace, but I also got all the ones that were sitting in my bank, took those into my inventory, and found all of those treasure chests. And some of those treasure maps that were in the bank were there since the original game launch. So that's how long they've been sitting in my bank. So I finally got around and have all of those treasure maps cleared out, all the survey reports cleared out, and all that does means that I have a few of those crafting writs still around. And the reason why I haven't got those yet is because a couple of them ask for some motifs that you could only get by completing dailies at certain areas. So I'm doing some Blackwood dailies then in order to see if I could get the motif that needs the Blackwood dailies. And I've also been doing clockwork ones so I could get that motif. So maybe I'll be able to finish that off. And I've also been doing the daily jewelry quest so that maybe I can get enough cobalt. So with enough cobalt, I'll be able to finish the other two because I need cobalt in order to finish the final 2 writs that I've got on there. So it's only 4 writs left, and maybe I'll eventually be able to get those finished. Or either that or I'll just grow tired of the whole thing, ditch them. Either way, they'll eventually be out of my bag. And that concludes my week in gaming. And now for news beyond LOTRO, where Darren Loremaster has some lost stanzas to Roads Go Ever On. So he starts out by giving us the original first verse, which is in The Hobbit. And he then, as usual, I think this is at least the 3rd time that he has posted new. I could just imagine every time Bilbo goes out, or maybe later Frodo goes out in order to do a walk in there, they come back with another verse on it. And over all those years they've been doing walks, I could imagine they probably have a couple of hundred of them by now. How many of them they remember, of course, is a completely different matter. But anyway, here are a few more lost stanzas to The Roads Go Ever On. We currently have 14 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, you can go to the nation's Patreon support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money will be used for our podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. The Players Alliance did not receive any emails this week. If you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@LOTROplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. The Players Alliance @Players Ally, LOTRO Players @LOTRO Arendis @Arendis, Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles, Senswinda @Senswinda, Terry Edwin @Terry Edwin, Guarendis @Guarendis, Calibathian @Calibathian, and
I forgot to put it at Krister at Entropy Engine 1.
yes, Krister at Entropy Engine, and maybe we get that into our template so that it will automatically.
Yeah, Entropy Engine with the new number 1. That's
all right.
Important.
You know, you could, since we are on the same shared Google page, type that in so that, you know.
I understand that completely. I just forgot to. I realized the moment Pineleaf said that I forgot to put it in.
Wait, Krister actually has the Twitter? When did this happen?
Apparently he's had
last week.
Well, no, that's when he
had
finally
it for 12
found
years.
it.
I just hadn't turned it on. So,
Man, I thought I got lost. I ain't never lost nothing. Been lost for 12 freaking years.
The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have a LOTRO Players News, and we record DDO Players News when DRAC is available. You can join us for our shows at LOTROplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.